2, 3. Hi guys, welcome to our YouTube channel. It has been a while since we posted another video. It's because it's been a shitty weather.
It's been awful.
It's been awful this past few days. But hopefully through this video, we can encourage you guys to really watch more of our videos because we will be posting more, especially our upcoming content with...
Okay, put it this way. We're going to visit a very large collection of parrots and do an interview with the breeder.
It's really nice. She has a really amazing collection.
She has a beautiful collection.
True. So for today's video, since we don't have very nice weather at the moment to go outside, we are going to be talking and answering questions that people want those questions to be answered.
We'll roll with that. She's going to ask me questions that people have constantly asked me. I get messages all the time on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, and even our YouTube channel. We've had a few comments and stuff. So Lisa's going to fire through some of the most common questions, and I'm going to do my best to answer it. Lisa's interview will be coming soon, by the way. It'll be very short though.
Huh? I have an interview.
You're going to get an interview. Or we can tack it on to the end of this video, maybe. Just about your experience and what brought you to birds and all that sort of stuff and what you were doing prior to this. Because a lot of people that watch these videos are going to be shocked. If they're not personal friends of ours or Facebook friends of ours, they're going to be shocked what she used to do before she came to be with me.
Okay, I understand that.
Yeah.
By the way, these are our babies.
A couple of them. A couple of them.
Looking real nice. They're my babies, by the way.
They're always her babies. I give up saying that they're ours or mine. They're all hers.
Yes. But anyways, let's go on to the first question. Are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so our first question. How long have you been breeding parrots and what got you into breeding parrots?
So I'm 38. I got my first bird when I was 5, and it was a hand-reared cockatiel from my grandfather. So that'd be 33 years, if my maths is right. Yeah, 33 years. 32 or 33 years. Yeah, 33 years. And what was the second part of that question? What got me into breeding birds?
What got you into breeding birds?
Yeah, that was the big thing for me. I remember going to his place in Levin as a kid on, I think the street name was Sexton Street. And that name always stuck with me. Exact same reason. So I ended up finding, I always found myself outside looking in his aviaries. He had goldfinches and greenfinches and canaries and cockatiels and budgies, and he even had brown quail and Japanese quail, and he had one pair of Indian ringnecks, a yellow and a blue, in a suspended cage above his veggie garden. And I used to spend, every time we went there as a family, like I would have been only 3 or 4 years old at that point, I was always attached to him and attached to the aviaries. That was my big push into aviculture. Yeah. By the way, the cockatiel I got hated me. Loved my mother, hated me. That was meant to be my pet.
Good thing you don't have a pet. Cockatiel.
I was about to say I have a macaw, thank you.
I know. So the next question will be, how many breeding pairs do you currently have?
I don't have as many as I used to. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs now. I used to have a lot of lorikeets. Used to have a lot of all sorts, really. But I've really just gotten down to birds that I like and I enjoy. And that's what's important for me. If I'm not enjoying what I'm doing, I don't want to do it anymore. I lose that love. If I lose that love, keeping animals is not something, if you lose the love, you shouldn't be doing it. So I only have a few pairs at the moment. It will be growing, probably, most likely.
Oh, it will be growing. Because I already have a selection of birds that I want to have. So
we'll go over that in your queue at the end.
Hopefully. Okay, so do you belong to any avian or breeder organization?
New Zealand has multiple clubs. There are bird clubs from Whangarei all the way down to the bottom of the south. Whether you're into the show scene, so that's showing canaries, budgies, cockatiels, finches, British birds, foreign finches, whatever, there are clubs that are really proactive in that scene. Then there are other clubs like the Avicultural Societies. I'm the current president, re-elected last weekend.
You're stuck with it.
I'm stuck with it for another year. I love the club, but boy, 5 years, 4 years as president. President of the Parrot Society of New Zealand. Represent.
Oh, I should also wear my T-shirt.
You do have a Parrot Society shirt. I forget that. It never comes out of the cupboard because you never go to the events. Well, you go to the events, you never dress like you're going to the events.
Yes.
You dress like you're going to a whole different event.
It would be nice if we also have a T-shirt for our Bring It With Us
YouTube
page.
we talked about that, remember?
Okay, so our next question: how do you select and pair your breeding pairs?
Genetics is your biggest thing. So obviously you want to find as unrelated birds as you can. New Zealand has a very low genetic gene pool for most species, especially if you start heading towards the larger parrots. So finding unrelated birds in the larger parrots is very difficult, if not sometimes impossible. So you go as far out as you can. Line breeding is a long-term game and something you've really got to think about. So when it comes to selecting birds for breeding, they have to be in good condition. If you can find birds that are in great condition, young preferably, you're always better off pairing young birds together, or you buy multiple adults or multiple young birds, flock them and let them pair off individually. But yeah, those are the main things for me. And also, I think temperament comes into play. I do feel sometimes temperament, and we when we breed dogs and cats and cattle and sheep, and I know this from working on farms, temperament is a big thing. You don't want pigs that are nasty or cattle that are nasty. We don't want parrots that are nasty as well, especially if you're breeding species in like the white cockatoo range or Amazons, that sort of thing. If you have pairs that are hyper aggressive, those chicks are likely to carry that down the line as well.
Okay, moving on to the next question. How often do your birds breed each year?
That's a species-specific question. So my yellow napes are very seasonal. They start October and they're done by the end of November. It's a 2-month window with them. If they haven't had a clutch by November, most of the time it's done by the end of November. Things like the conures and all that sort of stuff. Some conures breed all year round. We're in winter right now, hand rearing these little guys. We didn't breed these. These are from a friend of ours. But when it comes to these guys, which are the Eclectus, we bred this guy here. We're pretty sure it's a guy. They breed all year round. Here in New Zealand, it is all year round. So, but they have small clutches. They only have clutches of 1 to 3. Our pairs tend to have 1 and 2 more than anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I let them do their thing. If we need to give birds breaks, we give them breaks. That's just how I operate. Things like Eclectus and that. You could breed them all year round. A hen only has so many eggs in her system. Once she uses up all those egg follicles, that's it. It's all gone.
So do you allow your pairs to raise their own chicks, or do you hand from an early age?
So I tried last year to let my Amazons, my yellow napes, rear their chicks. It ended in disaster. I had the oldest chick did great. The second chick, the hen must have been a heavy brooder, and she broke the leg of one of the chicks, and she stopped. She didn't feed the third one. Then we pulled the oldest one to let her focus on the second one, She then stopped feeding the second one because the second one had a broken leg and was, I wanted her to rear them at least until 3 to 4 weeks. I think the parents give any baby a hell of a better start than we can. If I'm trying to produce higher numbers of something, or I've got a hen that potentially might be a bit off, or a cockbird that's a little bit aggressive, or I'm trying to get one more clutch out of them for a season, I would still like to leave them with the parents for a week if possible. If not, then yeah, pulling at day old is perfectly fine. I hate doing day olds personally. I do. I hate doing day olds. It's no sleep. Irritable as hell, and I'm irritable on a good day, aren't I?
Because you feed them every 2 hours.
Every 2 hours.
It's very time consuming.
Every 2 hours. Well, not right round the clock, but every 2 hours. So a lot of breeders do things differently. A lot of hand bearers do things differently. We hand rear between 6 and 2 for the first 3 days, and then from 6 till 12 for a week and a half to 2 weeks after. I mean, my main thing with that, and a lot of people go, you don't have to do that. The longer a bird is going without food, especially if it's only weighing 2 grams, 6 grams, 12 grams, 20 grams, the longer it's going without food, the more energy it's going to be burning. And the name of the game is to put weight on the babies. You want them to grow. So the longer they go with an empty crop, the more they're going to actually burn their own weight gains that they've gained over the past 24 hours.
So this is a very interesting question. What is your approach to preventing inbreeding?
It's a hard one. So if you're overseas, you probably have a much larger selection in gene pools. Most of the species in New Zealand were imported in relatively low numbers, and those numbers are what we've got to work with. You're going to look for the most unrelated lines that you can. To buy a bird from the top of the North Island and the bottom of the South Island doesn't necessarily mean they're unrelated. There's maybe, if you're into your scarlet macaws, for example, 2 prominent lines are being produced in New Zealand. A new bloodline from a male scarlet will hopefully be introduced into that bloodline. He's never bred with another scarlet. He's only bred with a green-winged macaw, and he is an import from the 90s. So that's the best way you can do it, is you can find as unrelated birds as you can, outcross. If you have to inbreed, you incross and then you outcross and then you incross and then you outcross, and you just try and avoid that really tight bottleneck. Once you hit that bottleneck, you're gonna struggle with fertility. You're gonna struggle with just abnormalities the whole way through.
Next question.
Sorry.
So this question, it goes like this. How do you ensure your birds are healthy and genetically sound for breeding?
I don't take my birds for vet checks annually like some people do. You just need to trust in yourself. The biggest thing is a microscope. If you don't have a microscope, even the old school primary high school microscopes, the ones where you toggle up and down, it lifts up and down, they're still good enough to be able to take a fecal sample to check for coccidia cysts or worms' eggs or anything along those lines. When it comes to other diseases, if you have a closed collection, you really don't run much of a risk. Keeping your birds healthy is making sure you're feeding the right diet. Your birds aren't fat, your birds aren't skinny, you're not feeding inappropriate foods, they're getting adequate exercise, they're getting adequate enrichment. They've basically got all of their needs met to the best of your ability. But if your bird is sick, take it to the bloody vet.
Yes.
I can't stress that enough. If you feel something is not right, take it to the vet.
True. At what age do you pull your chicks for hand rearing, if you do so? Which you do.
Which I do.
Yes.
So this eclectus was pulled not by me. We're very lucky at the moment. We're up in Whangarei, helping look after a parrot collection up here. We live in a motorhome. It's a very nice motorhome, but it's still a motorhome, which means we can't fit breeding pairs of parrots. That will be changing. There will be videos coming. We will be building cages and aviaries, which I'm super excited about because my pet macaw hasn't been with me since March or March, somewhere around that mark, and he loves me and I love him. I think he loves me more than my partner does. Sometimes I do. And then I've got the Amazons and the Alexes and the Ekis. So I'm really looking forward to having the birds with me. It'll be nice to wake up in the morning and hear. Oh, honey, please never do that again. You just made me swear on the video. Are you embarrassed by that? I hope you're embarrassed by that.
No. Just like sounds. Every morning.
What sounds like that? Oh, fuck. Don't do that. Anyway, carry on. I'm just looking forward to having my birds with me. So going back to pulling chicks, we've been lucky that our birds, I should say, have been at Mary Lee's house, and she's been hand rearing the babies for the first couple of weeks until I can get up there or down there from here to pick them up and finish them off.
I guess a very important question, especially for me. What hand rearing formula do you use?
I use Katie's personally. I find it easy to mix. I find it does well across the board on all species. We get good weight gains on them. This Eclectus went up by 23 grams overnight. So, I've never had an issue with it. Granted, we add fat. We add
peanuts.
Organic, unsalted peanut butter to try and increase the fat level. I just think all hand rearing formulas lack the fat that's needed for a parrot's growth. But I have used most hand rearing formulas available in New Zealand. So another good one, if you're ever unable to get hold of Katie's, is Intune, which you can find through Nature's Key, which is based in Whangarei, where we are currently. It's a very good hand rearing formula as well. Follow the instructions as per all hand rearing formulas, and as long as your hygiene is good, you shouldn't go wrong. Always use the high energy. Don't muck around with all bird or just standard bird. Get the high energy or the macaw or anything like that, whether you're doing a cockatiel or a macaw. It's just, don't waste your time on the lower grade stuff. Get the high end.
True. Do you offer DNA sexing or do you sell unsexed babies?
Depending on the bird. So cockatiels that we've got currently weaned and in the brooder, unless the client wants to pay for the DNA sexing, I ain't paying $20 on a $100 bird. I ain't doing it. You spend more on hand rearing formula on the baby. When it comes to Eclectus, obviously you don't need to DNA sex. The Amazons, we definitely DNA sex, and these two conures will be DNA sex because we've got someone that wants, I believe, a male. So, and I think potentially here they want a female to pair off with a male.
So, at what age do you let the chicks go to their new homes?
When they're weaned. They have to.
How will you know that they're weaned?
They're eating for themselves. They're not screaming for food incessantly. All food is being eaten. That's a big thing. If you see them nibbling, but the food's actually not going down in the bowl, they're just playing. It's actually got to be consumed. If it's not being consumed, you should still be feeding that bird. I'm a big advocate of holding a bird for quite a number of weeks after it's weaned. In fact, I've held birds for months to be safe because some birds can go backwards very quickly.
Yes, you do.
I do.
I remember the last batch.
Oh, yeah, the Amazons. Yeah. Oh, the Alex. the Alexandrine that kept going really good with the weaning, and then it would stop and go backwards, and then it would go forwards, and it would go backwards. It was just a bloody nightmare, wasn't it? It was like a yo-yo.
So what do you feed your adult breeding birds?
My diet is different than what they're getting currently. So my diet is a lot of vegetables. Having eclectus means that you are feeding a lot of vegetables, a lot of stuff with beta carotene, vitamin A. That's incredibly important for eclectus. Dark leafy greens. That's what I was trying to say.
Oh, I was trying to understand what you were saying.
Yeah. English isn't your first language. Dark leafy greens, and I don't feed a heck of a lot of fruit. But yeah, Top Flight does a fantastic mix that I love, and it's the not soak and sprout, super sprout, full of the peas and the lentils and the sunflower seeds and all that stuff that sprouts really well, and it's really good for your birds. Obviously, species specific. You know, if you've got galahs, if you've got big time seasonal breeders that are from like really arid areas and are used to that big austerity period where they get run down prior to the breeding season before the big flush, you can't feed high-end, high-wet, high-value food all year round. You are going to run into problems with cockbirds' testes being engorged the entire time, not shrinking down, which can cause fertility issues and all that sort of stuff. I've had it in a collection that I ran for a while. We fed sprouts all year round for galahs, and the fertility peaked. And then the next year it dropped a little bit, the next year it dropped a little bit, the next year it dropped a little bit, and suddenly the galahs were borderline producing nothing. 20 pairs were producing 7 to 12 chicks, which is ridiculous. So it's really important that you just do your research on the species, really, and then look for what is the industry practice or best practice diet and adapt it to suiting you. Don't forget, you can prep all your food well in advance, put it in the freezer. Things like your vegetables and fruit you can cut up, put in the freezer. Sprouts are a daily thing. You've got to wash those all the time. If you can't wash those, do soak. Soak means you're only soaking it overnight, washing it and feeding it. It's still better than feeding dry all the time, but dry is not the enemy as well. I have no problem feeding a good quality parrot mix or cockatiel mix, depending on the species again, but it only pays a portion of the diet. And then I top up with pellets just to cover any bases. And I can't tell you enough, these birds seem to love the in-tune pellets.
Yes.
Am I wrong? We've got an eclectus right next to me. It's only probably about 40 centimetres away from me. That we just put into weaning not that long ago. I think Monday. Today is Thursday.
I think it actually started eating yesterday.
As soon as we put a pellet in its beak, that was it.
He loves it.
That was it. I had bowls of sprouts and vegetables and all that. Just toyed with it, played with it, put a pellet in its beak, boom, straight into the crunching. And that was yesterday. And today it's absolutely hooked into the sprouts and the vegetables.
Yes, which is amazing.
Yeah. I sometimes just getting that texture and feeling and getting that working side of things and letting them realize what's food and what's not. Getting a good quality pellet that you can wean them onto, and then you can move extra foods onto that.
So I think this next question is really important to those who really wants to be into breeding. So how do you prepare your birds for the breeding season nutritionally and environmentally?
That's a very multifaceted question. Where do you start? Diet. We just discussed diet before. You've got to look at your species and find your species-specific diet. Finding out whether they need to have a rundown period, so dropping them down to just a cockatiel mix or a very low-fat, low-energy food for 2-3 months, and then flushing them up with sprouts and vegetables and all that sort of stuff. That's a good way of preparing them and encouraging them into breeding condition. Environmentally, just going back to nutritionally, I don't supplement unless I have to. I will give calcium supplement about a month out from the breeding season, but I don't do all the vitamins, sprinkles, and all that. Most of that you can find in the diet and in a way of feeding, especially the synthetics. I don't trust them. It's like the COVID-19 vaccine, just not enough research going into it. So yeah, that's the dietary and I suppose supplementary side of things personally for me. What I do may not work for you. What you do may not work for me. There are so many ways to do it, and you have to find your way that works, but not to your animal's detriment. That is the biggest thing. So then we talk about housing. You may as well turn your phone screen off because this is going to be a while. So then we talk about housing, making sure that, so the first thing is an adequate size cage or aviary. If you're breeding...
Go on.
If you're breeding in a cage, you have to make sure that those birds still have room for exercise. You've got minimum lengths, minimum widths. It's really easy to find. Do your research online. It's straightforward. I see some videos on YouTube of people breeding sun conures and something this by that, width. And I'm just like, that's no life for a bird to be in something that size for the rest of its life as a pair. I suppose it's better than being in a cage in the kitchen as a single bird, but it's still not the best way, is it? I mean, to have a cage that size, if you put two of them together, it's still going to be better. If you put three of them together, it's still going to be even better, and it's not that much change in cost, really. Outdoors is my preference. I really prefer to keep birds outdoors. Everybody says to me, oh, I cover my birds' cages at night. It's really not necessary. The only time you need to do that is if you've got birds that are prone to night frights, like, say, cockatiels. Birds don't have covers over them out in the trees. The birds out in aviaries in New Zealand, they don't have a big wrapped fleece blanket wrapped around their aviaries. As long as the birds have gotten used to that temperature, they are going to be fine. I had a green wing macaw hybrid that used to love being out in the snow. Love being out in the snow. I had lorikeets and lorries that you would smash the ice in the morning on their water bowls, and the first thing they did was they went boom, straight in and bathed in the icy cold water. And they preferred it when I left the ice floating in there because, I don't know, they would have a field day with it. Your birds are a lot tougher than you think they are. Obviously, if you're going down the route of little finches, like the little tropical finches, different story than the parrots.
So how do you manage hygiene and biosecurity to prevent diseases? And also, what are the common health issues you have encountered with your parrots?
With my parrots. We will, when we get running, we will be setting up a closed facility. It won't be birds in, birds out, birds in, birds out. Anything that does come in will be going through a very rigorous quarantine procedure. And it will probably be a longer quarantine procedure than really is necessary. Diseases in New Zealand aren't that common, but we haven't been struck by bird flu yet. And bird flu is probably my biggest fear at the moment. So that's my biggest concern. So it will be a closed facility once we set up our place. And it'll just be our few pairs of birds. If we do buy anything in, it goes through quarantine, and it probably will go through quarantine at my dad's house, to be honest. Probably. I'll probably quarantine them off-site. Yeah. What was the next part of that question? What health issues have I encountered? I've had psittacosis, which it's avian chlamydia.
What is that?
Very different to the human chlamydia that I just saw flash across your eyes. So it is a bacterial infection in birds. It tends to cause wet nostrils, weepy eyes, and a dirty vent. With me, it caused severe flu-like symptoms. I was incredibly ill. I couldn't function. And then a friend of mine said to me, have you checked if you have psittacosis? And I said, no. And they're going, check. So they had me checked, came back positive for psittacosis, and I was treated with doxycycline for, I think, 7 days or 10 days. I can't remember. I've had birds with beak and feather disease. They
Crop
were
issues too, right?
crop issues are a hygiene issue in hand rearing mainly. When it comes to your adult birds, diseases are there, but not as common as overseas. We don't have things like Newcastles and all that sort of stuff floating around the same as like the US, or we don't have PDD, proventricular dilation disease. We don't have a whole range of stuff. We're very lucky here, being a little offshore island shooting away from everything. However, that does make it hard to get new birds in at the same time. You got your tongue poking out. The little conures is just sitting there going. Yeah, so I've had beak and feather, psittacosis. That's about all. You had your normal stuff with your budgies. I can't remember the name of some of the infections with the budgies, scaly mite, that sort of thing, as well as I don't know, they call them runners, but it's another term for like a budgie specific strain of like a beak and feather disease. I can't remember the name of it. But I haven't had budgies since I was. My niece had one a long time ago when she was living with me. Wasn't my bird, so I haven't had budgies. I haven't had budgies since I was 12. 12.
Serious question.
Yeah.
What is your stance on wing clipping?
I don't like it unless it's necessary. As breeders, the first thing that I get asked when I've got a bird for sale is, can you clip its wing?
Do you do it?
I ask why. I ask why. And if they say, so I can take it outside with me, I say, no, go get a harness. I will clip a bird's wings if it's an aggressive bird. So, for example, if it's a long-bill corella, major Mitchell cockatoo, Moluccan cockatoo, or something along those lines, where they're a compatible pair, they breed. However, the cockbird, because a lot of people don't seem to realize that cockbirds cycle or come into breeding mode in 14 days, whereas hens come into they cycle or come into breeding mode 21 to 28 days. So you're talking 3 to 4 weeks. Normally it's 4. So when a cockbird of an aggressive species or a bolshy species that really wants to drive a hen to breed comes into condition early, the results can be quite dramatic if you're not prepared for it. So it comes down to knowing your birds and making sure that you're prepared. If you've got a pair of birds that the cockbird can be a little bit pushy on, just clip the wings. It's way better than waking up in the morning, walking out and finding your major Mitchell hen with its beak chewed off, legs chewed off, wings chewed off, or blue-fronted Amazon with its beak chewed off, legs chewed off, wings chewed off, long-bill corella with the same thing, or a galah that's chewed. It's awful. It's not nice. I've had it personally. It's never something I want anyone to deal with.
We have another question here. What do you think makes a responsible breeder?
I think it comes down to ethics, really. Doing your best by the birds, doing your best by the babies, making sure that you generally know who you're letting your babies go to is a big thing. Letting your birds rest and is one. Like you can have birds like African greys and eclectus or sun conures that'll breed all year round. Normally they take their own little breaks here and there where they just stop, but then you'll get the odd pair. There's one here at a facility we're running. She seems to cycle every 21 days as soon as the chicks are pulled, because she plucks the chicks. As soon as the chicks are pulled for hand rearing, 21 days later she's on eggs. The only way you could stop her is to shut off the box. She's only had 3 or 4 clutches, but I have definitely noticed she's a 21-day cycler, like clockwork. Actually, just in the 4 months we've been here, 3 months we've been here, she's had 3 clutches. One failed. No, we had to take the chicks for hand rearing on one, and then one failed, and now she's got a big healthy chick that she's feeding now.
So, how do you handle overpopulation or unsold birds? We're down to our second to the last question, by the way.
Second to last question. Unsold or overpopulated species. Look, New Zealand doesn't have the same number of breeders or backyard breeders or cage breeders that overseas has. I can almost guarantee that question's from someone in America.
Probably.
Yeah. Anyway, not going to go down that route. So, sorry. Overpopulation is probably not a huge issue here in New Zealand. Obviously, birds do get rehomed here. There are one or two rescue facilities. There's many that are starting up, but most of those people are just wanting to try and get their hands on birds like eclectus and sun conures and African greys. You know, they use this guise as a rescue to be able to get those birds, and then they put them out in aviaries to start breeding them. I know of 3 rescues that have done that, and 1 that still does. But yeah, rescues aren't a big thing here. Overpopulation isn't as out of control as some other countries. What was that next? Babies that haven't been sold.
Yeah,
they just stay. They just stay.
Stay with you until they're sold.
Yeah, until they go to their new homes. I don't call it adoption. Don't ever message me saying I want to adopt one of your babies, because I won't reply to that. I won't answer that email, and I'll probably hang up on you. I'm not a rescue. You're not paying an adoption fee. You are buying a baby off me. Plain and simple. You want to call it adoption to make yourself feel all airy-fairy and a box of fluffy ducklings, that's cool. But you're not adopting off me. If you're buying a baby, you're buying a baby. But yeah, the babies just don't go. Once they're weaned, if I don't have a home for them, I would probably end up just building another cage. Another aviary, and they just stay out there. And to be fair, I don't think I've not sold a bird.
Oh, you've sold everything.
I've sold everything. The only thing I'm struggling with at the moment is cockatiels.
Yes, and they're mine. It's not his, it's mine.
So like, they're hers, struggling. But guess who has to bloody sell them?
You, because I don't know anybody
guess who
here.
Gets to keep the money?
Me.
But anyway, it's not like it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think that's the big thing is the birds just don't go. They stay. They stay with us until someone comes along.
If no one can have them yet, we're going to have them.
Yeah.
So moving on to our last question.
Question. How long has this been going for? Oh my God, 38 minutes.
I know. Don't worry about it. So moving on to our last question. Yes, baby, I know you agree. What advice would you give to someone thinking about breeding parrots?
If you're passionate and there's something that you really think you're going to get into, just do it. But again, look at the property you live on. Are you close to neighbours? Can you keep the species that you want to keep? Do your research on the species that you want to keep. There's more here in New Zealand than, this is just focused on New Zealand at the moment, but this works internationally. Keep knocking my mic, sorry. This works internationally. Do your research. Find the species that you think you're really going to enjoy. I did the starter bird thing. I got cockatiels when I was younger. I got more cockatiels and more cockatiels, more cockatiels. Then I got budgies, and then I got zebra finches, and then I got quail, and then I got this. And I still love, I love all of them, but I don't have any. She does. I don't have any. And I wish that I could have started with Amazons, but Amazons were out of that price bracket when I was that age. You know, a pair of yellow-naped Amazons, which are my favorite, was sitting at around $15,000 a pair when I was 12 years old, and there was no way I could ever breed enough cockatiels to pay for a pair of yellow.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, after you've done your research and you've found a species that you're interested in, she thought it was over, and you found a species that interests you, join a local club. attend a meeting or two. They're not going to charge you for it. Just come along, have a chat, find somebody in your club that breeds those birds, try and spend some time with those birds, work out whether it's something that's really going to it's going to work in with your schedule and your life, because let's face it, everybody says, oh, I'm going to change my life around the birds. You're not.
I remember a time you told me that if you're breeding birds thinking about having lots of money from them, don't do it.
No, you'll be broke. You'll be broke. If you're going to breed parrots, you've got to do it for the passion and the love. You may make a bob or two out of it. You may make many bobs or many twos out of it. You know, you could end up producing a mutation and hit the jackpot and end up a multi-millionaire. I don't know. But if that's your main goal, you won't succeed, because parrots are a long game. They're not a short game.
They are.
If you're like, for example, if you're going to buy a pair of sun conures, they'll breed in 24 months. If you're going to buy a pair of eclectus, 3 to 4 years. You're going to buy a pair of yellow-naped Amazons, 5 years most likely, will probably be between the 7 and 10 mark. Same with, galahs, 3 years. And if you're buying young birds and good healthy stock from reputable breeders, which is what I always recommend, you are going to be waiting. You are going to be spending that time feeding something, maintaining something, cleaning something for years before you get anything out of it. And that's where the love comes into it. If you don't have that love, that's going to become a monotonous chore. And you're really just going to lose your interest very quickly. So there, I think that answers that question. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge.
That's okay. Now we're going to talk to her about her life real quick, because she doesn't have much to say.
I thought it was supposed to be for the next video.
No, we'll get it done, because it's not going to be a long video with you. So I'm just going to run off the top of my head. These are just questions, not anything any viewers have asked, because that would be weird if they were asking personal questions about my partner. So tell me, when did you find yourself interested in parrots? October 2024.
Yes, October 2024. I was here. I just arrived here in New Zealand, and poof, you're living in a motorhome, and then poof, there's a bird, and another bird, and then another bird. Like, there's a lot of birds by that time.
Then the breeding season kicked in.
Yes. And I didn't know anything about them by that time. You know? I'm so far from what I was doing back in the Philippines and what I'm doing now. In the Philippines, I'm more on glamorous stuff, fashion shows everywhere, modeling shoots, pageants and stuff like that.
If you didn't know, and now you're gonna know, tell them what you used to do.
I do a brand ambassadors. I am a brand ambassador, so I do magazine covers, plus pageantry too, which is a very big competition in the Philippines and also here, I think. Miss Universe Philippines.
It's not that big. It's not that big.
But I was doing that. I was doing a lot of like modeling and stuff and promotion.
Just so you guys know, she actually dropped out of competing for Miss Universe. Sorry, that's, if you heard that was one of our dogs. She's dropped out. She dropped out of competing for Miss Universe Philippines 2025 to be with me.
I know, lucky him.
To be with me.
But yeah, when I was living with you here in the motorhome with these birds, I was so bored. And I don't know what I'm going to do with my life because I cannot work yet. And I am stuck, I say stuck by that time with babies, which I don't know what baby is that? What baby is that? What do they do? How do I feed them? And the more I handle them with you, watching you handle them makes me want to, I want to do that too. It looks so fun. And watching the babies grow each day, every day. You know, it's
And it is
cool.
each and every day. They change insanely rapidly.
Yes.
And I have to say, like I've seen a lot of people get into birds and all that sort of stuff. Lisa's almost a natural. Almost. So there's a few bits and pieces that I keep pulling her up on that she's not happy about. But with regards to feeding, she does it really well. She keeps track of all the weights. She's incredibly hygienic. This is hand rearing, by the way. And the babies really just seem to be thriving. So she's done these two since they were day old. And I think they weighed about 4 grams when they hatched. And they're weighing now what? Just under 200? 190 grams. And they're doing super, super well. So I'm incredibly impressed.
Yeah. And these are my first batch of birds. Me, first time hand rearing.
Yeah, I've left you to it. I've left you to it. I didn't have a choice. She told me that. I had no choice. She just said, I'm hand rearing these. You have nothing to do with it. Leave me alone. Until earlier in the week when she wanted to go to bed early, and then suddenly I was her best friend and the love of her life, and can you feed the babies for me?
Yeah, but I just do that when I feel like, aww.
Bloody night.
Yes.
But yeah, so no, we work really well as a team on the birds. It's quite cool, actually. So my next question would be, you have now worked with quite a number of species, including helping me here where we are at the moment with work-wise. Have you got a favourite?
Ooh. I haven't had a blue and gold, but I want to have blue and golds. But with these babies I've been handling, sun conures. Yeah, I know. You know?
No, I don't know.
So weird, but they're so sweet. They're so cute. They're so giggly like that. But these, give me more of these.
Collectors?
Yeah. I have a blue one though.
You want a blue one? Me too. I'd love a blue one. If a blue collectors popped out of our peers, we'd have bloody.
If only I can have a collection of only bluebirds, I'll do it.
Oh, blue yellow napes, blue eclectus, blue mustache, all of that stuff. Even blue scales. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. It's been a very long day.
Go on.
We do this after hours, so I've been out there feeding birds, cleaning birds, scrubbing water bowls, pheasant water bowls, all that stuff. Come in, then we go grocery shopping, then it's dinner time, and then we finally get the chance to sit down and relax. I believe. Yeah, we didn't do it. That video we were talking about. Oh, we've still got time. It's only 10 p.m. And I'm like, oh.
Only 10 p.m.
You have to stay up to feed.
Yes.
I don't, because I'm the breadwinner. Not that I sleep anyway. But yeah, okay, so sun conures. Okay, and then, so sun conures eclectus, you haven't hand reared an Amazon yet yourself, have you?
I haven't yet.
I didn't let you last year.
Yeah.
And we didn't do any macaws last year. So we should be hand rearing some macaws.
So based on these collections that I have at the moment, these babies are really easy to hunter for me.
They were bomb-proof, yeah. They were really well. They were real good. Eclectus can be a pain in the butt, but really worth it. Really, really well worth it. Okay, all right. And obviously blue and golds are a species that you would like to get in the future. What's another species? We've got yellow napes.
My yellow napes.
What the hell are you talking about? They're mine. Any Amazons?
Yeah, that's why
any Amazons are mine.
I want to have my yellow napes.
No, any Amazons are mine. And that's where we will have a fight. Yeah. That's where we'll end up having a fight. Yeah. We don't fight often, just over birds and who has what, because apparently my birds that I've built up now are all hers now. But
don't call me weird, but I really love a Quaker.
I like Quakers. I do like Quakers. I really love Quakers. They're actually cool little birds. I find the green ones to be aesthetically not as pleasing. Yeah.
But the blue ones?
But the blues and the Lutinos and the pallards and all the colours that I saw when I was over in Australia back in 2019.
I think that was the first bird I was like telling you, Hannah, I want to have a pet quaker.
Mm.
Mm.
And I gave you the okay for a quaker, not a sun conure. And that still stands. But yeah, is there anything else do you think they would like to know or they should know? I mean, we're pushing it for a 1 hour video now.
That's probably it.
Yeah.
So guys, we would really love for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you have the time,
should we show them this boy?
Oh yeah, we should.
We really should show you this boy.
And if you have the time, please do share our videos to your friends and let them know about all of these stuff. And also click the notification bell, because I think you need to say that too while doing this video. Yeah, so that you get notified all the time. And this is our baby.
Beautiful, beautiful boy. If you don't know, this is a smaller version of this. And by the time we release not this video, but the next one, we will know whether this one is a boy or a girl. That's in the container here. But this is an eclectus parrot. Not a specific subspecies. This is a cross of a few different subspecies. Lisa and I have a pair of crosses, and we also have a pair of red-sided, which is what I want to focus on personally. But yeah, this is the one that Lisa doesn't want to move on. But I keep trying to explain to her, we can't keep everything.
You can do it.
And we won't keep everything. But yeah, there's a few more babies floating around, but you can only have so much on the table at one time.
Photo.
So that's it. You're going to cut it from there?
Yep.
Okay. So I can stop.